The most recent picture from the James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, is causing alarm among researchers. What's truly happening in the puzzling plate encasing the nearby star Formal Hovel? A stressing new picture shows indefinable thickenings inside the circle of Formal Hovel, which is one of the nearest and most significant stars to Earth. It could be very different from what was previously thought. Once again, space experts must truly ask themselves what they really understand about star development and the universe. Could it be that we now also need to deeply reconsider the formation of exoplanets? The splendor of the James Webb Space Telescope has indeed surprised everybody. When this puzzling picture of the very bright star Formal Hovel was first displayed to the public, everyone wondered what was truly apparent around the star. Formal Hovel, also known as the solitary star of the South, is one of our closest astronomical neighbors. The most recent pictures from the JWST have revealed structures inside this circle that were not expected, peculiar dim patches and unexplained light patterns, challenging past hypotheses about this star system. The flotsam and jetsam circle around Formal Hovel either represents potential young planets or could be the aftermath of disastrous crashes, as scientists had previously thought. However, this new picture of Formal Hovel, with its brilliant rings and the garbage circle, reveals a totally new view and raises new questions. Are we potentially dealing with the first indications of phenomena that we didn't know or understand before? Has the JWST maybe found the hints of a previously unknown, invisible planet that is making its way through this vast dust layer? Or are we observing the results of a dramatic destruction that occurred over millennia? Researchers are faced with a riddle. The way light is refracted and reflected inside the disk doesn't align with the standard physical assumptions. These discoveries raise questions not only about the nature of Formal Hovel itself, but also about the fundamental principles of our understanding of astronomical evolution. Did exoplanets form around Formal Hovel? NASA called the mysterious-looking image of Formal Hovel in its dust shell, dusty flotsam and jetsam. And who would have thought that this picture would become the center of heated debates among scientists? Formal Hovel is a relatively young star located around 25 light-years from Earth in the constellation of the Southern Fish. It's one of the brightest stars in the night sky and was often considered by the Persians as one of the four royal stars. Scientists often refer to the bright disk of dust and debris around Formal Hovel as the Formal Hovel belt. This disk is thought by researchers to be a potential planet-forming region, which is precisely why the JWST has now focused its sharp eyes on this area. The JWST was not only built to show us the first and most ancient worlds in the universe, but also to significantly enhance our understanding of exoplanets. The Webb's infrared spectrometer easily penetrates even the densest clouds of dust and gas, and thanks to this advanced technology, astronomers can now for the first time look through this mysterious glass and examine every suspected object and dubious cloud in detail. Are there truly signs of planets here, or is this disk something completely different? Strictly speaking, these are debris disks made up of gas, dust particles, and the remains of collisions between smaller bodies. In disks like these, which surround young stars, planets can form, or there are already fully developed planets that have so far escaped our view. In 2008, the discovery of Formal Hovel B, a potential exoplanet within the disk, was proposed. However, shortly thereafter, the image changed, and since then, scientists have been uncertain about how many planets orbit the star. The exact spectrometer assessment of the dust and debris disk around Formal Hovel can not only provide researchers with accurate indications of already formed planets or early stages of development, but also give them further insights into the structure of the materials surrounding the star. These exceptional studies of the young star system provide us with valuable clues about the processes involved in star formation and the subsequent development of a young stellar system. Thanks to its advanced instruments and its ability to observe in the infrared range, the JWST detects the thermal emission of the disk around Formal Hovel and provides astronomers with investigations of the data. Each individual light frequency gives more information about the size, shape, arrangement, and other physical properties of the dust particles inside the disk. Gases become visible and analyzable, gradually piecing together the image of what is truly happening in the disk around Formal Hovel. Past observations have already revealed some ring-shaped patterns and gaps that could indicate the presence of exoplanets. The Great Dust Cloud is a massive cloud situated in the dust disk of Formal Hovel. Previously, this dust cloud was believed to be the result of a collision between large objects in the disk, leading to the formation of large amounts of dust. Now, an image is emerging that the debris, temporarily named F2300C and F2550W, could be much more, specifically, evidence of young planets. If these initial assessments prove to be correct in the next few years, this discovery would be a sensation, as we would be seeing some of the youngest exoplanets we have ever found in the rings around Formal Hovel. Spotting exoplanets in the vastness of space is currently very challenging. Making young planets visible was once considered impossible. Now that we can observe the birth and development of planets in other systems, we have a unique opportunity to understand the development of our own solar system in a completely new way. Formal Hovel, the mouth of the fish, is a young star with an old history here on Earth. Young in the grand scheme of things, it is 440 million years old and located 25 light-years from us. The star of spectral class A3V shines so brightly. Sure. Here's the text with proper punctuation. Dazzling white, pale blue variety that Formal Cabin is one of the most incredible known stars on Earth, with a mass 1.92 times that of the Sun and multiple times the radiance. Formal Hovel is certainly quite possibly one of the most brilliant stars in the night sky. In ancient times, Formal Hovel was recognized by the Greeks as a feature of the constellation Pisces Austrinus, which right up until now represents the southern fish. The name Formal Hovel comes from Arabic. It is a shortening of the term al-Qadij, which translates as mouth of the fish. The old Persians called it Drape, one of the 4 royal stars that were viewed as gatekeepers of the sky in Islamic astronomy. Formal Cabin was depicted as a feature of the constellation Delphinus, the dolphin, and had an extremely important significance in magical and mystical practices. The Arabic names for stars have their origins in archaic Arabic astronomy, which catalogued innumerable stars, gave them names, and even kept records of them. The Middle Easterners' knowledge of the stars was one of the most extensive ancient astronomical collections. Many of the old Arabic names were subsequently adopted by European astronomers and are still in use today. Formal skin is also significant in indigenous cultures. In the legends of several indigenous peoples of Australia, the brightly shining star was viewed as a sort of courier of light. The natives called it the hearth, and it played a central role in creation stories and connections with ancestors. These cultural interpretations and stories demonstrate the significance that formal skin has had in human culture for millennia. The old Persians would likely never have dreamed of observing and studying the distant star in the manner we can today, thanks to instruments like the James Webb Space Telescope. Formal Hovel B, exoplanet or apparition, raises the question of whether planets exist in the area of the proper cottage. Although the star is young, exoplanets should already be developing if they exist. The planets in our solar system also formed from the remaining groups of dust and gas. Formal skin has been studied intensively since the 1980s, with telescopes that were becoming increasingly better over time. In 2004, observations by the Hubble Space Telescope revealed that the dust disk has a sharp inner limit. It was then proposed, for the first time, that a large object exerts a gravitational impact on the dust plate. The fact that the dust disk is curved was considered further evidence of a potential planet. Scientists from the University of California had already expressed a similar suspicion in 2001. However, the evidence was insufficient. In November 2008, a paper was published that hypothesized the possible presence of exoplanets in the Formal Cottage system and presented good optical evidence for these planets. In 2010, new pictures again focused on Formal Cabin. However, there were signs that the tilted position of the disk could also be explained in another way. The evidence for the presence of the exoplanet Formal Cottage B was subsequently discredited. Despite the lack of evidence, speculation continued in some circles about the possible nature of Formal Cottage B and that it might be an Earth-like planet. The possible physical properties of Formal Cabin B were concluded by theoretical orbital parameters, which, in simple terms, meant that all guesses were highly speculative. Calculations showed that if it is a planet, it could be about half or twice the size of Jupiter. The size and the determined surface temperature of -2 degrees Celsius alone argue against it being an Earth-like planet. It may, in fact, appear to be a gas planet. Formal Hovel B could be a sort of failed sun, similar to our Jupiter. Jupiter likely formed as one of the first planets in the system. If it had had slightly more mass, it would have been dense enough to become a star. Then we would have a dual nearby planet system with 2 stars today. However, in the Formal Cottage system, the situation changed, and later observations lacked the ability to demonstrate that the planet, Formal Cabin B, actually existed. New data could no longer demonstrate the definitive mass seen at the start of the 2000s, leading to the suspicion that Formal Cottage B might be a fleeting dust cloud formed by the impact of 2 smaller objects. The JWST infrared detectors also failed to detect any significant infrared signals that would indicate the presence of a planet. Planets should be visible through their own heat or reflected starlight in the infrared range. However, despite a thorough search, no such evidence was found. Researchers currently believe that the object which was confused with the exoplanet Formal Hovel B is, in fact, not a solid planetary mass but an object that has a dynamic structure that dissolves or changes over time. Click subscribe now and be part of each new video. The text now includes punctuation, making it easier to read and understand.